Wax's podcast, talking mad shit about uninteresting facts. Wax's podcast, listen to it every Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, Wax's podcast. I'm coming to you live or recorded every Wednesday. And when I say Wednesday, I mean Wednesday where I'm at. It's 6 p.m. on Wednesday, and I'm still doing the recording of this podcast, but I'm relatively confident that I'll have this thing uploaded by the end of today here on the West Coast. So for all the people to hit me up from fucking New York in the morning and say, where the fuck's the podcast, I appreciate that. I'm so happy that you want to listen to this fucking thing, but I'm talking about where I'm at. I'm not talking about Wednesday in Somalia. I'm not talking about Wednesday in Sweden. I'm not talking about Wednesday in Atlanta. I'm talking about Wednesday here in California where I'm at. If I was doing the podcast, recording it from Somalia, Sweden, or Atlanta, I'd be talking about Wednesday there. But I do appreciate that you guys want to listen to it. But I will say that I never said Wednesday morning. I didn't say listen to it every Wednesday morning. I said Wednesday. So I'm positive I'll have this shit out by the end of the day Wednesday here. And I apologize for the lateness, but I have a very valid reason to be late on this podcast, and that reason is that I've been in San Diego celebrating the birth of my new nephew. Congratulations to my brother Herbal T. Herbal T is great on Twitter, and his beautiful wife Jessica, Yesguez, Yesguez on Twitter. Saying that in case you wanted to congratulate those folks on their beautiful second son. And they had their son early in the morning on Sunday morning at 4 a.m. so I wasn't able to make it down there. I was asleep. That was right after a Halloween party that I went to that I'll tell a little bit of stories about that later. But so when I did wake up, I rushed down there. I mean, when I say rushed, I mean I didn't rush at all, but I kind of got up and then I did go down there and I went to the hospital. And I got to hold my nephew on the first day he was alive in this world. And you know what holding little kids really makes you... God, it sounds wrong, holding little kids. I don't know. I don't know, whatever. But what it makes me think of is, like, you know when you're a kid, when you first, you're like 6 or 7, and even later, even in high school and shit, and you see your older relatives, and they're always like, I remember when you're knee-high to a grasshopper. They won't say it like that. Maybe I had relatives that said it like that, but they just talk about how they remember when you were a kid, or I remember holding you as a baby. And when you experience that, you can see why they would say some shit like that. I was holding this little kid, as a less than a day old, and I know that when he's older, I'm always going to remember that. Obviously, he won't remember that, but I'll remember it. I'm going to hold it to him. I'll be like, I had you, man. I protected you. I could have easily, you weighed about 8 pounds. I could have easily done whatever to you, but I held you down. So now that you're old and you're rich, because he's going to be rich because they're going to be so super talented, the two kids are going to be musical geniuses, and they're going to have a boy band that makes it to the levels Hanson only could have dreamed of. And at that time, when he has all that money, I'm going to be like, look, I held you in my arms. I could have threw your ass out the hospital window if I wanted to, but I didn't. I don't know if I should be talking like that about my nephews. I'm just fucking around, and they know that. But, yeah, so I was down in San Diego for a couple days, and it's always cool staying with my brother and his wife. And they already have their other son, Max, who some of you may know from the Milk in My Sippy Cup video. He's already a child star in his own right. But I'm pretty sure that those kids are going to do something special. I don't know if it's going to be in music. I don't know if it's going to be in what field it's going to be in. I mean, for all I know, there is a lot of meth in San Diego, and, maybe they'll get into that. I don't know. Or maybe they'll try to surf like their dad, and they'll end up getting eaten by a shark. How do I know what's going to happen to these kids? But I have a really good feeling about these kids, and, they really make me want to improve my own life, as a matter of fact. It's like my brother always says, having kids, really makes you think about your own mortality, because if my brother dies, like, shit, they don't have a dad now. And, I'm obviously not their dad, but, if I'm more worried about seeing their lives transpire or unfold. Unfold is better. I'm more interested in seeing their lives unfold than I am in seeing my own life unfold. So, just another excuse to quit smoking that I probably won't take any heed of or whatever. But I got to talk a little bit of shit while I was down there. I just saw something that that made me have to talk a little bit of shit. And you know, I got to shit on my brother's wife a little bit. Yes, I love her with all my heart, but you know, when you go to visit a place, when you're staying at somebody's house, it's different when you have a hotel. When you go to a hotel, you bring a toothbrush and you bring toothpaste because the hotel doesn't have to supply you with toothpaste. When you go to your brother's house to stay the night, you'll bring your toothbrush. You're not going to use one of their toothbrushes, but you don't really bring your own toothpaste because you assume they have the paste available. And they did. They had the paste available. However, my brother's wife, yes, is one of those people that likes organic stuff. Like all the products, not all the products, but most of the products that they buy and use are organic products that they got from Trader Joe's or whatever. So there's this toothpaste that they use called Tom's organic toothpaste. And I swear to God, I don't know what's in there. I don't know if it's like fucking tofu extract or like dandelion butter or whatever it is, but it's pretty much just like a white, it looks like toothpaste and it's the same consistency of toothpaste, but it's as if there's no flavor, there's no active ingredient, it's not even a paste, it's just like this substance. And when you brush your teeth, you know when you have like before you go to sleep, you kind of can feel like that film that's on your teeth. Like when you finish brushing your teeth with Tom's, the film is still there. Like there's nothing, it's not doing anything. It's like, I can't even think of an analogy that this is like, but it's pretty much like you'd be better off just putting the thing in water and just brushing the shit out of your teeth. It's almost like the toothpaste just acts as a shield between your teeth and the water that could potentially clean it in some kind of way. But, yeah, so I don't recommend Tom's organic toothpaste. You guys got to understand that science is there for a reason. There are certain things that chemicals and shit like that are actually good at. You know, we've created these things to make our teeth cleaner. You know, like chemists and people that people that are like Tom's is not recommended by the American Dental Association. If you saw a commercial for Tom's, which you never would, it wouldn't be recommended by 4 out of 5 dentists. It'd be recommended by 0 out of 5 dentists because they went to dentistry school or whatever you would call that, and they learned there that you need to have whatever is in, I don't know, fluoride or whatever chemicals are in toothpaste that actually take the tartar and plaque off your teeth. Whereas Tom just has like a vegetable garden in his backyard and just made some kind of fucking extract out of sweet potatoes and somehow turned it white. Maybe he used fucking soy milk or almond milk mixed with what's like a toothpaste kind of organic substance. I don't know. My point is, don't use Tom's organic toothpaste. It doesn't do anything for your teeth. Yes, and herbs. I appreciate your dedication to the environment and all things organic, but if you're brushing the kids' teeth, use the chemicals. Don't tell them to swallow it. Tell them to spit it out. Spit out the toothpaste just like anybody else would. And if they get a little bit in their bodies, I'm sure that the powers that be have at least made some type of regulations on the toothpaste so as to where it's not going to kill them to swallow the toothpaste. You know what I mean? So big thumbs down to Tom's organic toothpaste, and I'm sorry about anything that I've said throughout this podcast already that could be deemed as offensive or negative towards my family, because I love them very much. And they know I do, and I just talk a lot of shit, and I love being down there. But now I'm back here in beautiful Venice, California. I came, and they're in beautiful sunny San Diego, where we sat and watched, on the Weather Channel. We watched a lot of Weather Channel the past couple of days because we were very interested in Hurricane Sandy. And at this time, I'd like to say to everybody that was affected by that, I hope you guys are doing well. My outro that I always say, be safe out there. That is especially dedicated to y'all today. I've seen some horrific photos and videos of what's happening out there to all the people, especially like in New Jersey and shit, where they really got the shit really hit the fan and everything. Everybody that's still out of power. I know a lot of people over there. I'm from the East Coast. I'm actually from Maryland, and it got hit pretty bad, but I don't think it got hit as bad as some of the place like New York City and upper New Jersey and whatnot. I guess southern New Jersey as well got hit pretty fucking bad down there in Cape May, where you might take the Cape May Lewes ferry. You didn't think I knew about the Cape May Lewes ferry. Don't think I haven't taken that from Delaware to Jersey and back before. But yeah, I'm really sorry to y'all. I hope you guys are doing well. And I felt like a fucking asshole in San Diego where it was absolutely beautiful, you know, watching that shit go down on the Weather Channel. I guess you guys will have your like revenge or whatever you want to call it when I'm doing that, and then the earthquake hits and everything around me crumbles and I'm left in fucking rubble. But the last big earthquake, it wasn't that big that I heard of, was in Virginia, so what the fuck do I know? But it's just like a ticking time bomb, man. One of these days we got the fault underneath of us, and if here in Los Angeles, if there's a bad enough earthquake and like, you know, martial law ensues, it's going to be a bad look, man. There's a lot of people in this town. And as we already seen, the LA riots in the early 90s, like, it's not impossible for Los Angeles to become a riot area, you know? And in the case of a bad earthquake, it could be even worse because it wouldn't even be racially and politically charged. It would just be every man for himself, you know, just trying to get the basic survival needs. I hope that doesn't happen, but, you know, knock on that, which wasn't even wood. That's a plastic table. But, you know, it's inevitable that it's going to happen at some point. Just hopefully it won't be too bad. What the fuck do I know? Maybe a meteorite will hit Los Angeles before that even happens. I don't know. Maybe a fucking nuclear bomb will hit. I don't know. Or maybe none of that will ever happen and we'll just get more and more peaceful, and in the future we'll just all be harmonious citizens living in a beautiful fucking paradise. I was looking for the word utopia. A beautiful utopia. But yeah, it was just a crazy juxtaposition, because watching the Weather Channel in San Diego whilst Hurricane Sandy was happening, you know, they'd be switching between the news reports of Hurricane Sandy and then like the local news, you know, and they're showing like all this fucking crazy ass wind, trees falling down, fucking shit shaking, fucking the dumbass news anchors that are standing on the pier, which I'll talk about in a little bit, I think. They're showing all this horrific stuff and all this bad storm stuff, and then they'd be like, now to the local weather. There'd be some dude just like, it's, you know, it looks like Casual Friday at the meteorology department. And the guy's showing all the San Diego local towns, you know, sunny and beautiful here, sunny and beautiful there. It's the easiest job. The easiest job is to be a weather person in Southern California, because you might as well just like, it's the same fucking report every day. Sunny, beautiful. Sunny, beautiful. And I remember specifically in the midst of Hurricane Sandy happening on the East Coast, the guy was going to all the local towns, and he goes, look, getting a little chilly in Escondido today. It's about 59 degrees low, or a low of 59 degrees. And I was just watching that like, God damn, if somebody in Chicago saw that, they'd be like, fuck this guy. Like, he's like, chilly night in Escondido. You might want to not wear shorts today, folks. You might want to put on pants. That's like the San Diego fucking concern as far as weather goes. Like, you might, like, your toes might get slightly not perfectly comfortable if you wear flip-flops on certain days. You might have to actually put on a pair of socks. So yeah, San Diego weather is very, very easy and very beautiful, and that's why everybody wants to live there, and that's what drives the price of living there up, and that's why it's so expensive to live there. And it's also why, you know, in San Diego and Los Angeles for other reasons as well, but, you know, the just like the beauty of the weather and the awesomeness in general of San Diego is why every time you meet somebody that lives there, they're almost never originally from there. You know, it's one, like, if you're from a place like around where I'm from, Washington, D.C. is a bad example. Washington, D.C. is obviously a lot of people come to live there, but Baltimore, which is right by Washington, D.C., where I spend a lot of time, you know, if you're in a bar or something, you ask somebody where they're from, it's expected that they're going to say some town that's right outside of Baltimore. You know, they're going to say, I'm from Glen Burnie. I'm from fucking Annapolis. You know, they're going to say something right around there. And if somebody says, like, well, I'm from Minnesota, like, you're like, wow, why the fuck are you here now? Like, it's like everybody's expected to be local, but in San Diego and Los Angeles, you're actually more surprised. Like, especially in LA, if you meet somebody and you're like, so where are you from? They'll even acknowledge it. They'll be like, actually, I was born and raised here. And you're like, wow, that's fucking crazy. But yeah, that was kind of an uninteresting tangent. But hey, you know, talking mad shit about uninteresting facts. And that is a fact. It's not something I made up. I mean, I guess you could dispute it if you wanted to, but you don't even know who the person I was talking about is. You couldn't fucking Google that. You couldn't do any kind of research that could refute what I just said. And if you could, I would dispute it to the death. But yeah, more on the storm reporting. What did I want to say about that? like these, I just always find it funny whenever there's a fucking tornado or hurricane. Tornado even worse, but there's always the news guys always have to stand right out in the fucking storm. Like they have to stand right by the waves, and they're like, waves, the tide is rising. It's pretty windy. It's like, you don't think we know what a storm looks like without your dumbass standing out there getting blown back and forth with your fucking tie at a 90-degree angle from your body? You don't think we know what wind looks like at this point? I mean, I don't know. I always look at that and just think, God damn, these dudes are crazy. And I think sometimes, and I don't know what the fuck the guy's name was, but there was this specific guy on the Weather Channel that was reporting from Connecticut. And he was reporting from like a pier. Not the kind of pier that's like that's like a bridge and it has fucking posts that go into the ground under the water and it's a stable pier. The kind of piers that like are actually floating. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but you can picture it. Like when there's a wave, it rocks too. Like it's actually floating on the water. And this guy was standing on that shit, and he was like, he looked like he was trying to stabilize himself. But when you watched it, like he was like talking about how bad the waves were and shit, and you're looking at it, you're like, dude, like it really doesn't look that bad. Like it looked like he had like an intern on the side. Like right before they said action, they told the intern like, all right, shake it, shake the pier. Like it almost looked like the pier was shaking way worse than the actual wind was blowing or the water outside it was shaking. So I'm pretty sure that there was just like an intern on the side just shaking the fucking pier, and the dude was trying to act like he was trying to stabilize himself. Like, oh my God, Bill, I can't even take it out here in the wind. And then the fucking camera cuts off for 1 second, the audio cuts off. I think he's just telling the guy with the camera, like he told him to just like make it look like they're having technical difficulties. I think that the Weather Channel does that, especially in these days when, that's the way the media works. It's all about ratings. They just want to make everything look severe, make you scared, running everything off fear, But in some cases though, I was like, damn, these motherfuckers are crazy, like to actually be out near there. Sometimes when you see this stuff, especially when they do tornadoes, you see these guys and you're like, really? Like that takes balls to be out there. You're really trying to get that. Why can I not think of words today? What the shit? Hold up. I didn't hit mute on a track from last week. Hold on. All right. I'm not even gonna edit that out. What was I talking about? The word that I was trying to forget. A promotion. That reporter is really trying to get a promotion this week. He's toughing it out. Just like the guys that go to these war-torn countries and report, they're trying to, they're really making the sacrifice. When I watch these guys next to the waves and getting fucking dumped on and falling because of the wind, like my first thought when I watched it, I was like, damn, that's some white people shit. Like only a white reporter would do that. And of course, as soon as I had that thought, they cut to Al Roker, who was like literally standing in the ocean, and I was like, well, I'm racist against white people. I don't know, but that's what I thought of like that. So bottom line, to all you guys affected by Hurricane Sandy, did I even have anything else I wanted to talk about? I did have something I want to talk about. This is a Wednesday. This is Wax's podcast. But what day does this also happen to be? It happens to be Halloween. And some of you might have seen on my Instagram or my Twitter or Facebook that I actually did dress up for Halloween this year. But I'm sitting it out tonight, man. I got too much shit to do because I got to catch up on all the stuff that I wanted to do on Monday and Tuesday and Sunday when I went down to San Diego to see my awesome new nephew. But so I'm gonna sit out Halloween tonight. But on Saturday night, I actually did go to a Halloween party, and my costume was kind of awesome. You can go look at it on my Twitter or my Instagram at Big Wax. Go follow me on that shit. I dressed up like Skrillex, and some of you might not know who the fuck Skrillex is. I know that that's the case because when I went to this party dressed as this dude, and it was a pretty good costume. If you know what the dude looked like, I looked a lot like him. It was really easy to do. All I needed was a wig and a set of glasses and a black shirt. But I got half like, who the fuck are you? I'm Skrillex. What's a Skrillex? Like that was half of the things I got, and then the other half, the people who actually knew who Skrillex was were like, holy shit, you just look just like the dude. So that was funny. That was fun. I went to this party. It was a cool party. It was like it was hosted by a bunch of comedians that live in Los Angeles, and I'm friends with a bunch of comedians out here Because quite frankly, comedians are way more fun to hang out with than musicians. So I don't really hang out with that many musician people. I hang out with comedy people that just fucking like to talk shit about each other and shit. Whereas, you know, musicians can't take it. They can't take getting shit talked about them because they're so fucking emo and shit. So either that or just egotistical. Like, you know, comedians usually are comedians because they have a fucking problem. There's something wrong with them. They're super fat. They didn't have a good childhood. They just got something fucking weird about them that makes them quirky and funny. And usually it's like some kind of defense mechanism that they formed when they were in high school and shit. Maybe they're real small. Like, you know how like real little dudes are usually like real funny or maybe even real confident and shit. But usually there's something wrong with them and they like to talk shit about each other, and I like to talk shit too. And that's like a rapper thing too. Rappers, you know, with battling and talking shit, but like a lot of musicians, they're either just too sensitive or they're just too egotistical, like rock star wannabe dudes. And like, you know, rock star wannabe dudes, like they wouldn't even dress up for Halloween, you know, because it's just not cool enough. You know, like they're too concerned. They're the kind of dudes that go, like there was a lot of people at this party that like, it was in Silver Lake, which if you don't know Los Angeles, that's kind of like the hipster area. So there's a lot of people over there that they go to the Halloween party and they don't dress up, you know, because it's not, you know, it's like too silly and goofy to fucking dress up. And, you know, if I go to a costume party and I'm not dressed up, I feel like an asshole for being the guy that's not dressed up. They're the kind of person that go to a Halloween party and they just point other people out like, God, I can't believe he's dressed like that. And it's like, you little fucking cunt, it's Halloween, you fucking hipster. Nothing wrong with hipsters, but these particular types of hipsters, I don't know why I even went off about those fucking guys, but you know what I'm talking about. Too cool for school, want to be a rock star, and that's why I hang out with comedians and rappers, because we talk shit about each other and don't give a fuck, and that's why I hang out with regular ass people. But yeah, the cool thing, speaking of like dressing up for Halloween and shit, this is something I was thinking about. We all know that Halloween is an excuse for all girls to dress slutty. We all know that. But an interesting thing about Halloween is just, it's a cool holiday for people no matter what you look like. Because if you look fucking great, you know, you can exploit that. Like if you're just a fucking badass girl, like you can just dress however you want and just people will fucking drool over you and you look even better than you do normally. However, on the opposite side of things, if you're not good looking, it's like a perfect excuse to like cover shit up, you know? Like if you're bald, you wear a wig. If your face doesn't look good, you can wear a mask. If you're kind of fat, you can wear some big ass like fucking like, you know, like a toga looking thing that can cover it up. You know what I'm saying? If you have acne, you can wear mad makeup. Shit like that. So it's actually kind of a cool holiday for everybody. I was just thinking about that. You know, especially with the mask thing. People's just looks in general is an interesting topic to me because there's some people out there, it's just like you're born with a face, you know? And some people are just born fucking beautiful. Like some of these girls that like are just, like, ever since they were born, they've just been kind of worshipped. You know, people worship the ground they walk on. They'll usually end up marrying a real rich dude. He'll do whatever for her and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What sucks about that is not even through fault of her own. What sucks is that she might not develop like a cool personality because her personality is already just so inherently based in her looks, and people, she doesn't have to be interesting. You know, that's another thing about these, you know, people who are comedians. A lot of them aren't necessarily the most attractive people, but they were forced to develop a personality. The only way they can get laid is to be funny or to be interesting. And some of these, and that's why the attractive people that you see, male or female, a lot of times the most attractive people are actually the least interesting people. This is not across the board, by the way. I'm not making these generalizations across the board. Not to mention some people you see that are ridiculously good looking weren't always like that. You know, the person that in high school didn't look good, then you see him 10 years later, and you're like, God damn. And the opposite can be true, of course, too. You know, the cheerleader that now has fucking 5 kids and is 300 pounds and looks like the mom from the Honey Boo Boo show, you know? So, yeah, man. And then some people, dude, like, I saw somebody the other day, man. I'm not saying I'm the greatest looking person, but I saw somebody the other day that just, I looked at their fucking face and I just said, my first thought was, man, like I was just, man, that's fucking unfortunate. that person just has an unfortunate face. Like people with a person with a face like that, like they might want to get. I don't know. You shouldn't get plastic surgery to your face because people know you by your face. You know, you can change your titties, you can change like your body, and people will still look at your face and be like, "Oh, that's Rick." You know what I mean? But you know, changing your face is just kind of weird to me, man, because you're actually like your face is the way people identify you. But this person that I saw that just had an unfortunate face, and some people, you know, people are just born differently, man. And when you see somebody like that, you gotta feel bad for them, but you also gotta feel like, damn, I'm actually a pretty fortunate human being. And that's just an ugly face. Imagine if you ain't had no legs. So, you know, all in all, Halloween is a great holiday for everyone. And to everybody that's celebrating Halloween, even though you're probably listening to this on Thursday, because if you're having a good Halloween, you're not fucking listening to my podcast on Halloween night. You're probably getting laid, bro. But my night will probably be quite boring. Oh, that almost started to sound like the Catholic, and to all you Catholics out there, it's like, boring, 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 boring. Saint Michael, Saint Joseph, Saint Augustine of the Episcopalian Ministries, boring. Oh, fuck, man. Catholic Church was boring, man. It was nobody would sing. Like when they got to the songs, nobody would ever sing. It'd just be a bunch of people lip syncing. My mom, however, would sing. My mom would sing out loud. And even me as a kid that liked to sing and I was into music, I just like lip synced the whole time. My dad, my brother, we all just lip synced. And we pretty much like, Catholic Church is just like a fucking, it's like a fucking it's like a stopwatch. It's you know, it's about 50 minutes long, and as soon as they start in the mind of a child there, it's just like 50, 50, 59, or 49, 59, 49, 58. Like you're just counting down until it gets there. And when you receive the communion, you're not happy because you're by the way, you shouldn't be happy that you're eating somebody's fucking blood and body and drinking their blood. That was always weird to me that was what we did. It was like a fucking cannibalism, basically. First of all, you shouldn't be happy about that. But the reason I was happy when I used to go to Catholic Church about eating the communion was not because I felt like I was getting closer to God. I felt like I was getting closer to the time when we were gonna be able to fucking leave the church. Yeah, because that, you know, to everybody that doesn't know, that's close to the end. Like after the communion, you might have like 10 more minutes. Not even 10 more minutes. And I'm sorry to everybody that I'm offending right now, but that's just the way I feel, man. I wasn't into it. It was a very boring church. And you know, maybe there's other things wrong with the Catholic Church too. I actually hear that right now they're trying to revoke the fact that priests have to take an oath of celibacy. They're trying to take that away and make it so priests can get married and shit like that in the Catholic Church. I think that would be a good thing personally, because I always thought that was weird. And it wasn't at all. They always had little boys around them, and it really wasn't surprising to anybody who has any kind of knowledge whatsoever that there was a lot of allegations of them molesting the little boys. I mean, they had an oath of celibacy. They lived in this house by themselves, and the only people they came in contact with besides other priests were these little kids. I mean, hey, you do the math, and I'll do the reading. That makes no sense, but all right, I'm going to get to some other shit. I got a lot of questions today to get to, and I'm going to try to do a little calling section. Let me set up this phone call thing. Hold up. All right, I'm back. I got the phone thing set up. I'm actually going to call somebody that I don't know that I've really called very many times. I don't know this person that well, but I do know this person. They actually stayed at my house. This dude is Acumental. He is a member of the Palmer Squares, a rap group that some of you may know. It's a very good rap group. I've done some shit with them. I actually just finished doing a collaboration with them today. Since I don't fucking know him, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do... Oh, fuck. I should have thought of something ahead of time. I don't know how I'm going to do a prank call on this one. Fuck, I don't even know if to answer, but... Fuck. He's fucking Halloween night. He's probably fucking partying. He's probably partying somewhere.
Hey, this is Matt. Leave a message and I'll call you back.
At the tone.
Well, that is another fail of the call someone and fuck with them segment here on the Waxes podcast, episode 11. So if Acumental from Palmer Squares ever hears this, I know that one of them, there's two members of the Palmer Squares, Terminal Knowledge and Acumental, and one of them, whoever runs their Twitter, actually listens to this occasionally, because I've seen them reference it. Should I try to call somebody else, or is that just going to make it a fucking double fail? That'll probably just make it a double fail, because I hadn't thought of anybody else to call. So, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to do. This motherfucker probably won't answer. I'm going to call it because his album just fucking came out today. My homie Breezy. He'll probably go straight. His phone's always fucked up. I've known this dude for like less than a year. He's had like 8 phone numbers.
Big Wax.
Yo, Breeze, what up, man?
What's good with your family?
Chilling, man, chilling. I'm actually, right now, as we speak, I'm recording my podcast. And I wanted to hit you up, and you know, I know that your album just came out today. I got some people that listen to the podcast that may not know that. And I wanted to fucking get it from the man himself. What's the deal?
That's amazing, man. Hey, I just dropped Lovejoy. It's like, I'm real proud of this record, man. I'm over here. I'm actually just eating Cheetos right now. You know the jalapeno Cheetos?
Ah, jalapeno Cheetos. That's like a little rhyme right there.
Yo, jalapeno Cheetos is crazy. I'm just like, you know, I'm going between Facebook, Twitter, and Bandcamp just eating Cheetos and shit, just like, you know.
You're like
my promo on.
You're looking over there. You're over there looking like a fucking gamer, man. You probably got like a big gulp next to you, some Fritos, a big bite.
Yeah, a little bag. You know, I can, you know.
So for all y'all listening that don't know, this is my man Breezy Lovejoy. He just put an album today out called Lovejoy. And can you tell how would you explain this album to the people? What would you if somebody said to sum this album up in a paragraph, what would you say?
I would say that this is like my most personal effort. Like, this is like a very personable. Is that a word?
Yeah, that's a word.
Yeah.
I think it's the wrong, like, personable would mean, like, if I was personable, that would mean I'm like courteous and nice to people. It might be the wrong word, but I think I'll let it slide because it is courteous and nice to people. So hey.
It's like the most I don't know. I was in a room like for 80, like the bulk of the album I did just trapped in the studio room by myself and just, you know, went hard and you know, thought of ideas that I had during the day and just laced them like right at the end of the day, you know, and put them on Ableton, and I got to work with different programs and learn different programs from scratch. So I got to do like pretty much everything that I wanted to do on this album that I didn't get to do with OVE. I got to like work in the mixing process and like mold the album, mold like a story, as opposed to just doing track to track. So it's a very personal album, and it's very it's pretty deep. It's got a lot of layers to it. So yeah.
So for anybody not as familiar with your work, Breezy is an amazing drummer. He plays many instruments. He's a producer, a singer, and a rapper. So on this album, Breezy, did you produce the whole thing yourself, or did you have anybody else help you produce it?
Yeah, I had a few people help me. I had my boy Duke Westlake who helped on OVE. I had a new dude named Keith Phelps. He did two of my favorite tracks. And I had who else? I think is that it? Yeah, I think so. I definitely produced on all the tracks. But I had co-production help from Duke Westlake and my boy Keith Phelps.
Keith Phelps. Any relation to Michael Phelps?
Not that I know of. He doesn't actually swim. He doesn't have.
But he does flow through the tracks or some kind of shit. I don't fucking know.
He doesn't have. He was born without calves, without any calf muscles.
Oh, so he swims with just his arms. He has enormous fucking triceps.
His shoulder blades are just something to be.
His shoulder blades are actual blades.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
All right, that's cool, man. So I'm trying to think. I didn't think of anything up front to ask you, but how would you describe the actual sound of it? I've heard it. I think it's great, by the way, to anybody listening. I'm not just fucking saying that to blow smoke up Breezy's ass. I really think this shit is dope as fuck. So how would you describe it, and where can people get it?
Okay, I would describe it as like I would say that it is very mature and very, I don't want to say dark, but it has very, like, there's a lot of issues, you know. I'm pretty much dealing between women and, like, struggle and money, this and that. Like, so it's very, like, I feel like it's, you know, it's a record that's really for the people and, like, for what, you know, the average Joe is going through.
So you can get it on your Bandcamp, right? What's your Bandcamp?
My Bandcamp is breezylovejoy.bandcamp.com.
Is that the I'm just curious for myself. Is that the only place people can get it, or can like they search for it on iTunes?
Yeah. No, we just narrowed it down to Bandcamp for this one. We might spread it out, but at least for the first week it'll just be on Bandcamp.
Okay.
Yeah, Breezy Lovejoy, bandcamp.com.
That's what's up, man. It's just if you got a second.
Yeah, I got a second.
Man. I'm just curious now because a lot of people that listen to this show, I know by the emails that I get, a lot of people that listen to this podcast are also aspiring musicians themselves. So, what advice would you have to them as far as putting out an album yourself, putting out an independent album? Like, are there, you know, what do you think some people can do to, you know, promote, or what kind of avenues should they have to put it out? I know, you know, you're putting it out through Bandcamp, for example. Like, what made you decide to use Bandcamp, and especially what made you decide to use it exclusively?
Well, for me, like, I'm not signed to any kind of deal or anything. I'm not any, you know, I don't have any major machine behind me. I'm pretty much like the older cats used to say, we doing it right out of the trunk, you know what I'm saying? And,
right.
And we doing it all independent, you know what I'm saying? So we're pretty much, you know, we don't have the budgets to get all these publicists and all that stuff. So I think the major advice I would have is if you have a passion for this and you really do love to do it, just, you know, let's talk and just be about it. Just put it in action. You know, like, write the songs that you want to do. Make sure your artistry is involved. You know, like, make sure you have a clean vision of what you want the album to be, what story you want to tell. Be a part of, be real deep in that. You know, like, from beginning to end. Like, or else I think people respect that vision. You know, when they see that you're deep in the artistry. So,
right.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that would be my advice. And when you do it like that, you don't have to compromise anything. So I just put it out to Bandcamp. I don't have to go do anything. They take less money out, you know, as opposed to iTunes. And, like, as I think for where I'm at now, this is a good spot for me to start for where I'm at, like, to make some noise on Bandcamp, and, like, they're not going to totally rape me on my sales, you know, and I can, you know, make some steam out there and then, you know, direct it in one spot so people can just, you know, they know where to go.
Well, I think the advice I always give people on this show, I think you kind of epitomize the advice I give. You know, a lot of people hit me up and they're 16 and 17 years old and all they want to know about is how to promote their music. And I'm like, you know what, dude? If you're 16 years old, don't even worry about promoting it. Fucking just keep on getting better and better at it. And by the time you're 20, 21, 22, if you were just doing it for, like, to be famous or to be rich, you're gonna quit anyway. But, you know, if you get to be in your mid-20s and you're still going hard and you're making great music, such, you know, like people such as yourself, now is the time to put it out. And people are gonna, like you said about the artistry and, you know, just coming from within, like, people are gonna hear that. They're gonna hear that it's authentic, and then, you know, it'll get around. It might, and it's gonna be a slow process. Nothing's overnight, you know. Unless maybe like American Idol or something like that's overnight. But you also fall overnight too, you know.
Right. But yeah, man, like, there's nothing wrong with perfecting your craft and getting better. You know, like, it's just, some people are just, you know, born and to be great and they're gonna get it right away or whatever. Some people gotta work towards it and really work hard at, you know, seeing the vision through. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. When it's good music or when it's anything good, it doesn't need anything fancy to get it to where it's going to go. It's going to find its place, you know. It's going to find its place where it's got to be. You just got to keep putting it out there.
Right. Yeah. Well, shit, man. Let me ask you one more question, Breeze, before I let you go here, because I know you're over there fucking promoting and eating fucking Cheetos and shit like that. But what's the future for you, man? You got any plans for the future?
Yeah. I'm really anxious to do some more video work, some visuals. I got a lot of ideas for visuals. I'm excited. I have, like, a whole nother album that I did, like, after I got off the road in July. I just was recording nonstop, and so I put out this Lovejoy album, but I have a whole another batch of music that I'm really excited about too, that I'll probably put out at the top of the year, do some more visuals, and I would love to hit the road again. And just continue to put out music consistently.
Yeah, man. I hope that in the future we can just fucking make like a big ass like a fucking tour with like maybe like me, you, Dumb, maybe even fucking Watsky or something. Just have a big ass fucking review. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those fucking reviews where like maybe the band stays up and we switch, have some fucking dancers and shit, like go crazy with it.
Little Broadway joint.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it stops and the fucking spotlight goes on to somebody and it's a fucking spoken word piece that moves into Cirque du Soleil.
Nice. I like that shit. I'm double jointed actually.
Oh, you are?
Double jointed so I can fuck around and do some shit.
All right, well, y'all, and ask Breezy. I'm like a fucking fan of Breezy, and ask him. He'll tell you. I tell this motherfucker all the time that I have a lot of musician friends, and I always say that their music is good, but only probably 50% of the time am I really meaning that with my heart. And I always tell Breezy that he's one of my, like, as far as like listening to his music, like I bump that shit in my car all the fucking time. And this new album y'all gotta get. It's the shit. And it's called Lovejoy, and you can get it. What's your Bandcamp one more time, Breeze?
It's breezylovejoy.bandcamp.com.
All right, cool. And I just posted it on my Twitter today. So if you go to my Twitter or Breezy's Twitter, which is
my Twitter is @breezylovejoy.
And that's BREEZY, right? LOVEJOY.
Yep.
Damn, I can spell really fast. Jesus.
Yeah, you're killing it.
That's what fucking being a rapper and having a mom as an English teacher will do for you, I guess.
Nice.
It must be that thing. Well, shit, all right, Breeze. Well, I'll let you go, man. Go do your thing, promote your album, and
I really appreciate it.
No doubt, man. Have a good Halloween, bro. You dressing up?
Nah, man. I'm just gonna chill in here, man, in my boxers and just just stare at the computer and shit. I don't really get into the Halloween shit.
No. I fucking dressed up this past weekend, but I'm not doing it
tonight.
Yo, you
were Skrillex, right?
Yeah, did you see that?
Yo, that shit was perfect, man. I looked at that Instagram, I was tripping out, like, yo.
The people that know who Skrillex are, you know, we're in the music game, so we all know who Skrillex is, but when I went to that party on Saturday night, this Halloween party, it was like 50%, holy shit, you look just like that dude, and 50%, who are you supposed to be? Skrillex.
Right,
what's a Skrillex? They'd always be like, what's a Skrillex?
Is that medication or? Yeah, nah, dude. You look just like that, so you should just go chill out in Silver Lake somewhere and just.
I think I might just wear that shit all the time and try to get into bars and shit for free, and then just hit on drunk girls and tell them I'm Skrillex. But he's like way shorter than me though. He's like a little dude.
Oh, that's right.
He's like 5'2" or something. I don't know. Whatever.
All right, man. Shit.
All right, Breeze. We'll get back to your Cheetos, man.
For sure, man. I appreciate the opportunity, man. I really appreciate it.
No doubt. Thanks for doing the shit. Thanks for answering your phone. Most people, when I call them randomly like that, they just don't answer.
No problem, man.
Especially you. I was talking a little shit right before I called you. I was talking about hadn't known you for that long, but you've had like 5 phone numbers.
You know what I'm saying? Gotta keep it fresh, man.
Keep it fresh. That's true. You gotta keep them guessing, man. You gotta keep them guessing.
Oh, that box me.
All right, man. Well, I'll holler at you, Breezy.
All right, boy.
All right.
Peace.
Ah, yes, that was my man, Breezy Lovejoy. Breezy Lovejoy is a very good dude, and I guess I think that conversation was good. One thing I would definitely say about that conversation is the sound quality has really stepped up on Wax's podcast. It really stepped up. Fuck, who was the guy? There was a guy who emailed me. Fuck, now I forgot his name. But somebody told me a technique to do with this phone call thing, and it has really been helping out. So I wish I could remember your name. I know I shouted you out on a previous podcast, but I think that the audio quality, if you go back to earlier episodes when I would just hold my fucking phone up to the microphone, I think it's really stepped up. And y'all should really go get Breezy's album, man. That shit is dope as fuck. Breezy, I've worked with Breezy a bunch of times in the studio, and he's like one of those dudes that, like, you know, he's just real fast, and he thinks of melodies, and he thinks of fucking words, and he thinks of concepts. He's just a fucking great musician, and I wish him the best, brah. And that being said, what am I doing? Okay, let's start with some shout-outs. Shout out to Giovanni, Bert the Dentist, Ali, Bleach Stain, Amon in Connecticut, Arthur in Seattle, Mike N in Dodge City, Kansas. Katie H. Marco from Canada, who I want to say might have been the person that fucking said that shit to me. I don't know. They might have been the audio guy. I could be totally wrong. TJ in Spain. TJ Baller, 2 different TJs. Scram Squad on Twitter. Kyle N. Ben K. Chris H. James B. Dylan from Canada. Richard S. RK Landis. Tomi in Finland. Filiberto. Bert R. Stephanie from Maine. Bert R. Wait, did I say Bert R twice? Maybe he emailed me twice and I just didn't notice that I put it down twice. Or maybe just emailed me once and I'm fucking stupid. The homie Raul Justice. Always, if he sends me an email, I'm always going to give him a shout out because his fucking name's so amazing. DJ Freddy 97. Cornelius J. Adam R. Chris from Ashburn, Virginia. Emilio R. Justin, who came to the Hotel Cafe show. Thanks for coming to the show, Justin. And thanks for giving my brother props after the show. It's dope. Bastian from Germany, Matt O from England, and Andre from Cologne, Germany. And I got a bunch of questions this week, so I'm just going to get right to it. All right. Wax, this is from Noah. He says, I love you. And then in parentheses, hope that's enough ball licking to make it on the podcast. And it is. Look, he's on the podcast. All you got to do is say you love me, and I'll do whatever you want. Wax, it's just like those hot chicks that from earlier, you know. But Wax, I wanted to ask you advice on what to do after a breakup. You see, my girlfriend for about a year and I recently parted ways. She went away to college and I stayed at a community college locally. Money issues, couldn't afford the schools I got into. I guess you're saying that in defense of me saying, oh, what, you couldn't get into regular college, but I wouldn't say that. I don't give a fuck if you dropped out of high school. Fuck that bitch. It's like, I'm just kidding. I haven't even heard the story yet. It wasn't working out. She would be all day and late into nights with her friends drinking and partying and shit, only to call me whenever she got the chance. This went on for weeks. I didn't like the feeling. Wait, it went on for weeks. You were with her for a year. It went on for weeks. All right. I didn't like the feeling of being treated like a toy. Plus, other problems arose and we called it quits. Also, before we broke up, one day she contacted me, random as hell. She was usually quote-unquote busy during the day. I'd call a few times just to talk for a quick minute between my classes, and she'd bitch me out saying she was with her friends. She told me how much she loved me, then she asked me for money, $300 to be exact. This was after you broke up with her. She called you, after you guys called it quits. She randomly contacted you and asked for $300 to be exact, and my dumb ass lent it to her. She has recently gotten a lot into drugs and drinking and is fucking up in her classes, according to her sister, who is still oddly cool with me. I just emailed to ask you what your input was on the situation and to help me out with ideas and how to move on, because recently I'm really missing us. Thank you for the entertaining podcast. I honestly love it. Keep up the great work. I remember around the time New Crack came out, and I've been with you and love your shit since. Well, I appreciate that, Noah. I'm glad you like my stuff, and I appreciate the email. I'm always happy to entertain your emails with my horrible advice. And in this case, I don't think my advice will be horrible because I think I know exactly what's going on. I have been friends in my life with a lot of people that have, just like you said your girl did, got a lot more into drugs and drinking and is fucking up. You said in her classes, but I'm just going to say in general. Especially with people that really get into it. You know, she might have been, who knows what she wanted that $300 for. That $300 could have been for her new boyfriend to buy cocaine. I don't know. You don't, you know, you don't even know. Or she might have told you some bullshit. But people that are real into drugs, their level of shame will decrease when it comes to money. They'll steal shit from you. You know, they'll steal shit from their parents. They'll steal shit from anybody. They'll ask anybody for money. I mean, you know, most of the people that you see on the streets begging for money are either drug addicts or drug addicts, you know. And, you know, people will do anything for money. So my advice to you, if I want to be really honest, I didn't like what you were like, because recently I'm really missing us. But in the email, there was not one positive thing. There must have been positive things in you guys' relationship, or you wouldn't have been with her for a year. But in the email, you neglected to mention anything positive. But then all of a sudden later in the email, you're like, because recently I'm really missing us. So there must have been something positive. But I would say if she went away and you're at home at community college, you guys break up and she still wants $300 and she's fucking up and all this shit, you just got to move on, man. You're young enough to where it's going to hurt. The fuck was that? Am I tripping? I'm hearing, I swear to God, I thought I heard a fucking growl. This would be the most entertaining podcast ever if fucking Bigfoot breaks down my front door right now and attacks me. That'll be, I don't know if it would ever come out. But I swear to God, I heard like an actual like bear growl. I don't know. Jesus Christ. But yeah, you got to move on, dude. Forget it. It's done. After if you were together for a year and, you know, the best thing you can do is lose contact with her completely, and then as time goes on, there won't be any more missing us. So that's my advice to you, Noah. This one's from Joe. Yo, Wax, shout-outs from Minneapolis. All right, you Dutch douchebag. I know what a douchebag is. I know what somebody's Dutch is, but I never heard of a Dutch douchebag. That must, if you know what that is, hit me up. beatsforwax@gmail.com. I got something to ask you, man. I feel that your greatest strength as an artist is your ability to turn chord progressions into dope, unique tracks, and that's a bit of a sticking point for me. I can generate chord progressions. For the non-musicians out there, I'm not going to explain what chord progressions are. That would have likely caused Mozart to simultaneously weep and pop a hard-on. But I have a bit of a problem deciding what to do with the chord progressions. Do you have any advice for turning interesting/catchy chord progressions into actual productions? That is, taking it a step further than a cool idea and turning it into a song. Maybe a tough question to answer, but I think any insight you could provide would be invaluable. Also, option if you have time, what is your take on the relationship between marijuana and creativity in terms of songwriting/music? What impact has it had on your music? Real quick on the marijuana thing, the main thing that I can say about marijuana is it affects anybody who smokes it. It affects them differently. Some people, they can't handle it. Some people fucking love it. Some people, it makes them fall asleep. Some people, it makes them hyper. Some people, it makes them super creative. Some people, it just turns their mind into a big blur. So for me to answer that question would be tough. However, I will say that there are people out there. I mean, I'll say myself included, not all the time, but myself included, especially when I was younger. I definitely think that it fuels creativity. I mean, ask Bob Marley if it fuels creativity. When I was younger and I was in a band and like it was all about, our band was like really about not realizing it at the time, but just getting better at what you do and getting more creative and just jamming out and making shit up as you go along, playing guitar solos and playing chord changes and shit like that. Like I definitely think it helped you just kind of release yourself and just kind of get into the music. But once you get to a certain place and you kind of you kind of know who you are and know what you do, there's the occasional time where it just makes you want to watch a fucking movie and eat fucking jalapeno Cheetos. But as far as turning chord progressions to songs, for those people that don't know what a chord progression is, it's like essentially it's like the backdrop. Like if you were to watch like Christina Aguilera do a song and it's just her and a piano player, the piano player is playing the chord progression. And then if you take that piano part to the next level and add drums and all this shit, it basically becomes like a quote-unquote beat or a quote-unquote instrumental to the song. And what you're asking for right now, Joe, is how to take that and probably A, turn it into some type of beat, and C, turn it into a song. And what I'm going to start with is this. Always keep in mind that there are other people out there that can help you. You know, like the way the music industry generally works is there's actually, you know, in like the fucking you know, conveyor belt of pop songwriting, it's always, everybody's different, but generally there's like the producer, and then there's like the top line writer, and then there's like a lyrics, somebody's good with lyrics, or, you know, basically the person who makes chord progressions isn't necessarily the person who's going to come up with the words and come up with the melody that the person sings on top of the chord progression. So maybe there's a guy out there that you guys can be like a group and you guys can make dope shit together. For me, as far as I do a lot of stuff myself because I'm kind of a hermit or whatever. For me, turning chord progressions into songs, first of all, a lot of times I'll be walking down the street and I'll hear like a melody, and then I'll have to put the chord progressions to that melody. Other times, if I'm just sitting around fucking around playing guitar, I'll just play something and then I'll start singing something, you know, and it'll just happen. I mean, there's really no, when it comes to questions about writing music, there's just no right answer, you know. So I hope that helped at all, Joe. I basically said there's no right answer. But I would recommend trying to jam with some other people and see if you find any kind of good chemistry with some other people as far as music is concerned. All right, this one is from Monkey Named Eric is the email. He didn't leave an actual name, but hey, Wax, longtime podcast listener, first time questioner. I've been digging all your Unplugged shit from YouTube and was wondering if songs like Out of My Mind, So What, and Tomorrow were old songs you revived for the live performance or songs from your upcoming album. Just curious. Keep up the good work and stuff. Well, I'm glad you like those songs, man, and I just keep this quick. Those 3 songs you mentioned are all on my upcoming album. Although I did rehash a lot of old songs for the Unplugged stuff, a lot of that stuff is brand new and will be on my new album. And Out of My Mind, So What, and Tomorrow are all songs that will be on it. Not like an acoustic version, kind of live versions like that. Although I probably will release that too. They're like studio produced versions of those songs. So yes, and just the fact that you emailed me that shows how shitty I am at like presenting my stuff and really promoting my stuff. Because I should have said every time I posted it was from my upcoming album. But thanks for the email, man. This one is from Tyree. I don't know if this shit has been cleared up yet, but Jumanji has that dude, the British-ass dude, in response to last week's podcast, in parentheses. He paid for shit with all them old-ass coins at the gun shop. Remember that fool went into the toy store and started fucking shit up? The whole time I was like, they're describing that Jumanji dude. Anyway, man, my question is, does it get annoying when people keep posting music and shit all over your page, most of the time it being totally irrelevant to topics being discussed? Do you think people realize, even if their tunes ain't half bad, that they're extremely off-putting? I don't know, man. Just questions I have. Nice shirt promo, by the way. LOL. Well, I appreciate that, Tyree. And the first half of that, if you guys listened last week, me and my brother especially, was doing this fucking British guy impression. Totally not, by the way, British people, it's not supposed to be real. It's just supposed to be like some dumb shit. You know, like it was just supposed to be stupid. It wasn't supposed to be a real British impression. But it was just like a stereotype that who knows from whence it came. And it probably, as Tyree just said, it probably came from the movie Jumanji, because as you fucking laid that knowledge out, I do remember the guy having like old coins and trying to buy shit. So you're right. As far as people posting stuff, yes, that does get annoying sometimes when like everybody's trying to toss, you know, it happens to me a lot. I can't imagine how much it happens to people that are actually famous. Like, people just, you know, basically spamming your pages, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or whatever, with their own music. But, you know, here and there I check it out. If you send your shit to beatsforwax@gmail, I'm not saying I'll definitely check it out, but it's a better chance than if you fucking rate my Facebook page, especially because I don't really fuck with my Facebook page as much as I do Twitter and shit like that. But I appreciate the email, Tyree, and I'm glad you like the shirt promo. We got new shirts available if you guys haven't seen that. New Wax and Herbal t-shirts and this new Scrub Life Tiger shirt. So check that out. Wax.com should have a link there. If not, my Twitter @BigWax does. This next joint is from Mikhail. Hey Wax, I'm a huge fan. Been so for a few years now, actually, and I'm wishing you to come back to Shy so I can hear your stuff live. Anyway, my question is about the Illuminati. It seems like everyone in the music industry is involved. So can you shed some light on this speculation? Hold on one second. Yes, I can. When you get the record deal, a major label record deal, what happens is you have to go through a ritual after you sign the deal, which is, it's speculated in the deal, but it's on a page where you don't actually show anybody else, such as lawyers and such. You have to go through this ritual where you actually cut your wrist open, and you have to let some blood drip into a cup, and the Illuminati penguin, which is, you know, there's this one penguin who has eternal life, and he drinks the blood, and he goes like that for a little while, and he's like, he either says yes or no, and it's kind of like, you know, an Illuminati version of like Groundhog Day, whether you get winter or more winter or not. But in this case, it's like, is he suited to join the Illuminati? And if he says no, what they do is you just get sucked into this thing that takes your body down to the earth, and you get instantly liquidated. But at the same time as they liquidate you, they clone you, and your clone comes back up through the same tube, and then your clone lives on as you, but it's like an Illuminati friendly clone. And you know, one of the reasons that I actually got dropped from Def Jam is because, you know, initially the penguin said yes, but it turns out that you know, later he changed his mind, as he's done with a couple people that end up get dropped, or like, you know, they lose a lot of movie deals and stuff like that. A lot of times what happened, it was just like the Illuminati penguin was a little bit indecisive But thank God, because he would have liquidated me and I would have became a clone. So I hope that shed more light into that, Mikhail. This next one is from Steve. Hey Wax, I would start this off by telling you how big of a fan I am, but since everybody else does that, that seems kind of hollow. I will say though that I happen to think your rap name is awesome. I once heard you say in an interview, he's giving me praise, and he's saying that my name is cool, even though that fucking one article said I have like one of the worst rap names or whatever, which I thought was awesome that they said that I had a terrible name. But I appreciate that, Steve. I'm glad you like my name, man. Anyway, I'm writing to ask you about the best way to go about getting booked for live shows. Doing a lot of aspiring musician stuff today, but I like it. I've played a few shows, and they have gone really well and have been really fun. But too often, I put a bunch of time and effort into reaching out to venues to try and perform and just don't get anywhere. I have a little bit of a fan base, but nothing big enough to be enticing to a venue. I typically try to do things on my own, but at this point, I've pretty much accepted that if I want to play shows regularly anytime soon, I'm going to need some help. So my question to you is, where would this hypothetical help come from? I think, all caps, the route to go. I think the route to go is to put together an EPK and try to get in with a talent agency, but I really don't know shit about it, which is why I'm asking. I know that paying to play shows is a thing, yeah. I'd like to avoid that, but if that's just the route people take these days, I could probably get over myself and do it, at least for a few months to see what the deal is. Let me just say that I'm already working the YouTube/internet route. That's really where all my fans have come from so far. I love doing shows though, and feel it's an important part of being a rapper. Not to mention a great way to get fans. I agree with that. Sorry to ask a question about my problems as an aspiring musician. I know a lot of the questions you get are about this stuff, but I'm pretty sure you haven't commented on this specifically yet, and you're right, I haven't. And I'm just gonna break it down for you real quick. Everybody goes through the same problem. I know there's like a couple people out there that might have become famous before they ever played a show. That does happen occasionally. But most people have to start from the fucking bottom, and it is hard to get to a show. And the part you said, I have a little bit of a fan base, but nothing big enough to be enticing to a venue. I mean, those venues are running a business. And you seem like a smart guy. You are looking at it from their perspective too, because there's a lot of people out there that fucking don't look at it like that. They have nobody come like I used to play in a band, and there was other bands that we play with, and they're fucking like the pretentious ass wannabe rock stars like I was talking about earlier. Instead of appreciating the fact that the venue was even letting them play there to their 0 fans they brought, they complained that they got fucking $75 instead of the 100 they were promised. And you know what happened? They never fucking played the venue again. So an important thing to do is to be appreciative of everybody that books you. But this is something I'll say. I don't know what kind of music you make or what, but a good place to start is open mic nights. A lot of these venues on Monday nights and shit like that, they'll have an open mic. And when I first moved to LA, for example, I was experienced with doing shows. I'd done a lot of shows already in my life and shit, and then with my band and all that, but I actually really wasn't that experienced as a solo performer. So just about every night for a while when I moved here, I was doing open mic nights, and at several of those venues, when I was done doing my little 5 to 10 minute set, somebody would come up to me and say, yo, either somebody from the venue would be like, yo, we really like that. Could you do a show here? You want to do a full set? You want to open for somebody? Blah, blah, blah. Or just somebody else that was there would be like, yo, let's get something going. Me and you could do something. Or I got this other place we could perform, or blah, blah, blah. But point of the thing being, go get out there. A good way to get out there is open mic nights or even other people's shows. And see what you can do. If you're in a band, it's always real good to hook up with other bands. Like, my band was based in Baltimore, but our homies Downtown Brown in Detroit, whenever we went to Detroit, we'd open for them. Whenever they came to Baltimore, they'd open for us. And we had many bands in other cities like that, and in the same city too. Like, just get into the scene. You know what I mean? I know with the internet, a lot of people don't feel like that's even a thing that you have to do. But if you want to get good at making, if you care about your live show, I mean, you should practice. So I would say just start going to open mic nights and shit like that, and just start meeting people, and you'll be able to get shows. So hope that helps, Steve. Thanks for the email. All right, this one's from Zach, aka Forbidden. This one says, howdy, Mike Jones. My name is Zach, and I appreciate you reading this. I have a quick question for you. I know you have an iPhone as your cell phone, and I was wondering, have you ever considered getting a Windows phone? LOL, you're probably like, WTF is that? Come on, man. You don't think I never heard of a Windows phone in my life? Well, the OS is still quite new. Or OS, does that stand for Oriental Sausage? Because I don't know anything. Sorry. Well, the OS is still quite new to this I'm just fucking with you, by the way, Zach. The OS is still quite new to this generation, but when the Nokia Lumia 920 comes out, Windows Phone is bound to blow up. I don't know how you feel about iPhone, and I'm not here to hate, but I'm in no way, shape, or form joking when I say this phone/OS is better than the iPhone/OS by a long shot. Parentheses, this includes the iPhone 5. Best part, it's very inexpensive. So is this phone something you'd be interested in investing in? Oh, I didn't even read that part of the question, investing in. Oh, you mean like I think you mean investing in getting one for myself, not like actually making an investment in these type of phones, like a fucking stockbroker type of investment. P.S. The phone is also said to have the best camera on the market, sporting an 8.7 megapixel PureView Carl Zeiss lens with image stabilization. I'd love to see that being put use in your future YouTube vids. Wow. That last part I could read like a fucking Price is Right thing. Sporting a 8.7 megapixel PureView Carl Zeiss lens with image stabilization, it is the Windows Phone. Brand new iOS, better than whatever. But the only thing I'm going to read about, the only reason I wanted to read this question, Zach, is my answer to this whole thing is I really don't care that much. When I have a phone, I want it to be able to do a couple things. When I say a couple, I mean literally two. Calls and texts. Everything else I could probably figure out if I needed to. Although I do like my iPhone. What do I use on there? I use Instagram, Twitter, and I use Words with Friends. I don't use Facebook on there because it fucking freezes. So maybe that's better on the Windows Phone. I guess I just use it because it's kind of like the standard, man. I'm just going along with all the rest of the fucking sheep. And it doesn't give me any problems. I will tell you, I don't know if I had twice I had an Android before I ever got an iPhone, and both times the fucking touchscreen broke. You touch it and it wouldn't fucking do anything. So not because I've dropped it in water, because I fucked with it. I mean, I've roughed up my iPhone even worse probably, and it still seems to work fine. So as for right now, I'm sticking to the iPhone until I get a bunch more emails from people like Zach. I'm probably sticking with it. Bottom line is I'm just not one of those people that gives a shit. Like I always hear people argue about like Windows versus Mac and all that shit. And I just don't really give a shit. Although if I had to choose sides, it'd be on the Mac side for real. Because when I used to have Windows computers, they'd always have viruses and shit, and I never get that shit on the Macs. All right, how long is this? It looks like I only got one question left anyway. How long? Okay, we're not too long. I got one more question left. And this question is from Jay. What's up, Mike? A lot of people, you guys like to call me Mike. I appreciate that. You guys like to call me Mike instead of Wax. I feel like we have a little connection here. Me and you guys, the people that fuck with this podcast, a lot of people tend to call me Mike when they email me. I'm not saying that you have to call me Mike. And sometimes it's weird if you fucking are like, yo, Mike, can I come live with you? But I think that's cool, man. I think that we're having a little connection here. I think a lot of you guys kind of can relate to some of the shit that I say, and I bet you that I can relate to a lot of the shit that you guys email me. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys listening. Let's do one more of these emails. What's up, Mike? I'm currently dating a girl that's a perfect 10. I'm talking big boobs, big old booty, and flat stomach. She even got brains. She goes to CSULB, that's Cal State University at Long Beach, unless there's just happens to be a fucking another school with that 5-letter anagram and that acronym. The only problem is that she has already slept with 6, in capital letters, guys. To me, that's some hoe type of shit. If a girl goes past 3 guys, she a hoe to me. LOL. But I want to know, what do you consider too many for guys for a girl to sleep with? And would you wife up a girl that has history like that? Thanks, Jay. First of all, you have actually pretty strict standards on what you consider hoish type of behavior, man. I mean, I've dated girls that have slept with way many guys than that, and that's just the amount of guys that she told me that she slept with. And that let me start there. Anybody that's ever seen the old classic Chris Rock stand-up knows that if a girl tells you she slept with 6 guys, she means she's had 6 boyfriends she slept with. And I'm not gonna fucking tell that joke because that's a Chris Rock joke. But that's six is a fucking lie. She's not talking about one night stands. She's not talking about when she went back, as Chris Rock said. She ain't talking about when she fucked Bobby Brown, but she ain't talking about when she went to the fucking, you know, but I don't know, fucking, who's like a person that would have a concert right now? She went to the fucking Macklemore show and got tag teamed by Macklemore and his DJ. She's not talking about that night. She's talking about the 6 boyfriends that she's had since then, and she fucked them. And you're saying that 3 is a hoe to you. I mean, if a girl fucking 3 guys is a hoe to you, you're gonna have a tough time finding a girl that's not a hoe. I want to know how many girls have you slept with. Do you have that double standard shit, or is it okay for your fucking dirty ass gonorrhea dick to fucking go wherever it wants to go, but it's not cool for her? I'm just curious about that. But you know, I don't know, man. If to make it to you know, I think it's cool that you're thinking about shit like that, because a lot of people really don't give a shit. But for me, I kind of employ the don't ask, don't tell policy when it comes to past sexual encounters. I think that works better for everybody. You know, I don't care what you did in the past. You're with me now, man. You know, man, that sounded whatever, but I don't care what you did in the past. You're with me now. Just don't fuck 3 guys while you're with me. You know, don't fucking tag team Macklemore and his DJ while you're with me. Don't fuck Bobby Brown while you're with me. You could have done whatever in the past, you know? And with some exceptions, I can't really fuck with a girl that did like porn or something like that. That's a little too, that for me, like, I have low standards when it comes to being to a girl being a hoe. Like, it's just really, you can't have done porn. You know, that's how it is for me. But I look at it like, you know, you can't worry too much about what somebody's done in the past. You gotta look at how they are now. And you know, you said big boobs, big booty, and flat stomach, and she's smart. She goes to college. To me, she's only slept with 6 guys. That's really not that bad. So it sounds like if she's cool, I mean, that sounds like it could be a winner, man. At least worth trying out. I mean, if you're worried about her being a hoe or whatever, I guess wear a condom. I don't know. I guess just make sure you wear a condom. I mean, the main problem with a girl being a hoe, in my opinion, would be diseases, right? Isn't that the main problem? Or just fear that she's gonna sleep with other guys while she's with you. I guess that's a problem too. You know, that can happen. You know, if you'd have to investigate deeper. Like, there's different kinds of sleeping with people. Like, if she slept with 6 guys and 4 of those guys were like her girlfriend's fucking boyfriends, or if, like, you know, she had a boyfriend and then she fucked his friend, you know, that's a hoe to me. That's hoe as shit. Is shit like that. If it was just like 6 random encounters, to me that's not hoe. She just, you know, maybe she likes sex. Who doesn't? So yeah, that's my answer to you, Jay, and I hope that helped. Happy Halloween to everybody, and I hope I didn't say any shit that was too fucked up or offensive today. I probably offended my family, friends, fan base, and everybody else in the world. Everybody on the East Coast who was fucking with the hurricane. I think I was nice about that. To everybody fucking with that hurricane, man, good luck to you guys. And be safe out there.